Israel strikes Iran, markets falling. Israel struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear, missile and military complex early Friday morning in an unprecedented attack that reportedly killed Iran's commander-in-chief. The strikes on Iran's nuclear program and senior military leaders could mark a turning point in the long conflict as Israel prepares for major Iranian retaliation, and with the threat of a wider regional war now a real risk. Oil prices soared and broke through $77, the highest level since early 2025. Bitcoin has fallen below $105,000, altcoins are down 5 to 10%. And liquidations in the last 24 hours totaled $1.08 billion. US stock market futures fell sharply after loud explosions were heard in Iran's capital Tehran. Sirens are now sounding all over Israel. Investors wait apprehensively for the US stock market to open. Israel begins attack on Iran. The Israeli army cited Operation Lion Nation as the reason for Iran having enough enriched uranium to build several bombs within days. The strikes on Tehran were called a necessary measure against an imminent threat. Netanyahu, operation will last as long as necessary. Israel struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program, attacking sites of Iran's missile program. Oil plus 10%. Trump called an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss Israel's strike on Iran. Rubio said the US did not assist Israel in strikes on Iran. Iranian Foreign Ministry: Israeli strikes could not have been carried out without US knowledge and coordination. Iran: Israel will pay a high price for the strikes. This will not be a mere show of will or technological capability. This time our response will be lethal. Expected casualties from Iran's response to Israeli strikes will be different than usual. IDF Chief of General Staff: Israel prepares for retaliatory strike in coming hours. Officials: Trump: US will defend itself and Israel if Iran retaliates. Arabia, Qatar and UAE condemned Israel's attack on Iran. Arabia is one of the world's largest oil suppliers. Qatar is the world's largest LNG supplier. Probability of closing the Strait of Hormuz is now the highest, possibly in history, experts. Iran has officially pulled out of nuclear talks with the US, Reuters. Nvidia will stop including China data in its financial forecasts due to US export restrictions, CEO. Nvidia CEO: the decade of robotics and autonomous vehicles is here. Tesla raises prices on Model X, S in US. Gas prices on global markets have also risen sharply amid the escalating Israel-Iran conflict. Reputational clouds are once again gathering over Boeing following the crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner in India. Reuters and Wall Street Journal report Indian authorities may suspend flights of all Boeing Dreamliner 787-8s after yesterday's crash of a Boeing Dreamliner 787-8, NDTV channel. Chery became the first Chinese automaker to export a cumulative total of more than 5 million cars. Xpeng and BP Pulse, the electric vehicle charging division of British oil giant BP, have opened their first joint charging station for electric cars in China. Tencent is considering buying Japanese gaming company Nexon plus 8%. OpenAI will use AMD's next-generation 2 chips, Altman said. IEA head Birol: markets are well supplied with oil, but we are ready to act. IEA oil safety net has more than 1.2 billion barrels of emergency reserves. India asks state-owned mining company Iral to stop exporting rare earth metals REMs to Japan following restrictions imposed by China, Reuters. Shares of some of the world's air carriers are in heavy negative territory after airspace closures by some Middle Eastern countries amid the Israel-Iran conflict. Flights across the Middle East were cancelled, diverted or returned to their departure points after Israel's strike on Iran. WP $9.8 billion was withdrawn from U.S. equity funds over the week, equals largest weekly outflow in 11 weeks, Bank of America EPFR data. Oil price will fly into space if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, Bloomberg. Oil's rise to $100 minus 130 will accelerate U.S. inflation and the Fed may return to raising rates, Bloomberg Economics. Gold tests historic highs. Bank of America believes gold could rise to $4,000. U.S. Michigan Consumer Sentiment June Preliminary U.S. 1-year Consumer Inflation Expectations June Preliminary U.S. 5-year Consumer Inflation Expectations June Preliminary. Starma, no obstacles left to ending U.S.-Britain trade deal. DRFI Development Corp to raise $5 billion for further SOL purchases on balance sheet. Already 116 public companies hold BTC on their balance sheets, cumulatively almost 810,000 coins vs. 312,000 coins a year ago. Sailor's strategy is the biggest player. Corporates started actively buying BTC on their balance sheets in November 2024, when Trump won the election. Since April 2025 alone, companies have bought 100,000 BTC and 25 new companies have reported purchases. Binance research data. Shopify will add support for USDC stablecoin payments. Coinbase integrates decentralized exchanges on Base into its app. Coinbase is also launching open-ended futures in the US. The US Senate has scheduled a final vote on the Genius Act Stackcoin bill for June 17. Many investment houses and crypto industry tops see the passage of the stablecoin regulation as the strongest driver for the crypto industry and crypto markets. Members of the Polkadot community have proposed creating a strategic BTC reserve. The plan involves selling 501000 of their DOT tokens to gradually buy TBTC over the course of a year. Long-term holders are now actively buying BTC, CryptoQuant data. James Wynn was liquidated again. Even with a new wallet, his long positions BTC and Pepe couldn't avoid liquidation. 6 days ago James Wynn created a new wallet and continued trading. He opened long on BTC 40x and Pepe x10. Total losses from his new wallet exceeded $2 million. High leverage is to blame. Trade smart. SharpLink plans to issue additional shares to buy ETH for balance sheet. Walmart and Amazon are exploring issuing their own stable coins. Wall Street Journal. UK-based Smarter Web company bought another 74 BTC for its balance sheet. SharpLink SBET has become the world's largest publicly traded ETH holding corporation. The company bought $463 million worth of ETH for its balance sheet. A U.S. court sentenced market maker Gotbit and its founder Alexei Andreyunin 8 months in prison for manipulating crypto markets and a $23 million fine. Japanese company RemixPoint bought another 57 BTC for its balance sheet. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has proposed converting $100 million of ADA reserves into BTC and native USDM and USDA stablecoins to strengthen the ecosystem. Coinbase expects 2H 2025 to be constructive for cryptocurrency market drivers. Strong U.S. economy expectations of Fed rate cuts, growing adoption of crypto among corporates and institutions, greater regulatory clarity.